What is up, guys? Welcome to the top 10, or in this case, top 25 Arrowverse moments of the week, episode 10, or basically the top 25 Elseworlds moments. And I'm not including any moments from Legend of Tomorrow, not because it was a bad episode. In fact, it was probably or definitely the best episode of the season so far, but I'm not including any moments because it's not a part of Elseworlds. I did the same thing last year, the top 25 Crisis on Earth X moments. Unfortunately for Legend of Tomorrow this year, they didn't have an episode, but still, I didn't want to make this video Elseworlds and that extra episode, so this will be entirely dedicated to Elseworlds. I still like the episode from that week of Legends of Tomorrow, but without further ado, let's get into the top 25 Arrowverse moments of the week.
You been over this, hon?
No, you talked, I ignored. You need a new muffler.
I think this is a tie rod end.
Come on, Kara, back me up here.
No, thanks. I know better than to get involved in a debate with Lois Lane.
But you do know the feeling.
So I gotta be honest, this moment right here, not incredible or anything, and I don't really particularly love this version of Lois Lane either, but this moment did introduce us to Lois Lane, one of the biggest, most iconic, and famous DC characters to ever appear in the Arrowverse, so obviously that is a huge deal. She's been referenced before and mentioned before, and Superman even talked to her on the phone back in Supergirl Season 2, but she's never appeared, so this moment did introduce us to a pretty large DC character.
My name is Oliver Queen. After 6 months in hell, I have been released from prison and returned home with only one goal: to save my city. But things have changed. Instead of operating outside the law, I am now working alongside the police. I am no longer inmate 4587. I am once more the Green Arrow.
I mean, they didn't have to do this. Like, they could have just left it with either no monologue, give a monologue to the Monitor, or just keep it as is with Oliver Queen being the monologue as the Green Arrow, but they changed it to Barry Allen. They changed all the scenes. They reshot some of these shots from Arrow Season 7 and probably before that with Grant Gustin instead of Stephen Amell, and I just love the fact that they did that. So, although there is no comic book character named Dr. John Deegan, there is a character named Dr. John D, aka Dr. Destiny, with the word Destiny being splattered all over the crossover, such as the Book of Destiny, or Destiny will be rewritten on a lot of the promotional material. I just expected him to become the villain Dr. Destiny, and in this scene he kinda does when his face is mutated and now kinda resembles how he looks in the comics, which is that he has a skull for a face. Seeing Oliver Queen and Barry Allen returning to being Green Arrow and the Flash, respectively, was a very, very satisfying moment. I think it would have been a lot more satisfying if they were the wrong hero, as in Green Arrow, aka Barry Allen, and the Flash, aka Oliver Queen. Up until this moment, it probably would have made Part 3 much, much better, but still, what they did here was still very satisfying in this moment.
Weird. Hey, Mayor!
Just if you could, just for 90 seconds of seriousness.
You gotta admit, this is a little cool.
I will find it a lot cooler when I wake up in my own bed tomorrow morning.
You woke up in bed with Iris?
Mm-hmm.
We have to fix this right now!
This scene was actually one of the first sneak peeks that were released for the crossover, like one of the first scenes, and when I watched it, it was just so funny, and when the crossover finally came out, it was, although not as funny the fourth time around, because I did watch that clip quite a lot of times because it was just so funny, but still, it was a great piece of comedy, really setting the stage for this episode in particular, which was very, very funny.
Wait! Who are you?
In peace.
Whoa, Lois, wait, this is Barry and Oliver, they're friends.
Wait.
Okay, so you know that I'm Oliver and he's Barry.
Yeah, well, why wouldn't I?
Man.
Okay. You guys, this is my cousin Clark. I'm so glad you get to meet.
Your cousin. That cousin? The super cousin?
Oh, please, call me Clark. Welcome to our farm.
Are you puffing out your chest?
Yes.
Lois Lane.
One thing I really wanted to see in this crossover all the way back before it was confirmed was Superman appearing and meeting characters like Green Arrow and The Flash, and he finally does that in this moment. And although the moment is not nearly as epic as I expected it to be, it was still a good moment just because Superman finally met these characters, and on top of that, the moment was really funny as well.
Wherever your cousin is, I'm sure he's really proud of you. X-ray vision. You really do have a lot of tattoos.
And somehow I feel like Kara Danvers doesn't have a single one.
You know, it's such a shame I have to go, because I feel like we would make a good team.
World's finest.
In the crossover, I felt like Kara and Kate built some sort of friendship that could be very entertaining in future crossovers and very similar to Oliver and Barry, and this moment was a big part of that. They also mentioned World's Finest. They felt like sort of Batman and Superman meeting up and becoming friends, but female, and obviously Batman and Superman would be way, way cooler, but still, I liked this moment quite a lot.
Oliver, look.
Although I would have just loved to see at least one Batman villain in this crossover, seeing these references to major Batman villains like Poison Ivy, the Penguin, the Riddler, and Clayface were pretty awesome nonetheless.
Do you ever wonder if trying to keep his private life from the public eye just got to be too much for him and he broke? Sitting at that desk, staring out that window, watching the city that we grew up in rot at its core. You find a way to not break. Bruce didn't leave Gotham without a fight.
So, I did post a video called The Top 5 Things I Want to See in the Elseworlds Arrowverse crossover just a couple days before the crossover came out, and one of those things was an elaboration about Batman and his world, and we did kind of get that in this moment when Kate and Kara were not only building up their friendship, but also talking about Bruce Wayne and Batman, so we did kind of get that a little bit. I also do like how Kara very subtly knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. I really like how they showed that in this episode. The reason this moment is on the list is because I just think it looks really cool. It's a pretty exciting fight slash race between Amazo and the Flash, who at this point is Oliver Queen. Also, I want to point out the fact that the construction site and the construction building here in this scene is probably the exact same one from the Crisis on Earth X crossover in the second part.
Warn us about what?
His name is Mar Novu, but he calls himself the Monitor now. He's been unleashing the Book of Destiny across the multiverse to test different Earths.
Test them for what?
A crisis that he believes is coming. Novu thinks the Elseworlds, created by the Book of Destiny, approximates the collision of realities that we're facing.
So this moment explained why this crossover is titled Elseworlds, despite not actually featuring that many alternate universes. The only ones it does feature are Earth 90 and 38, which is the same amount as Crisis on Earth X, which featured Earth 38 and Earth X. Well, the reason is because the Elseworlds is not actually referring to the multiverse, but any alternate reality changing of the Book of Destiny, which is great because in the comics, I never really understood the difference between the multiverse and Elseworlds, and here they give Elseworlds a different meaning.
Don't miss.
I won't.
Amazo, you have failed this city.
This was a pretty great ending to this Amazo fight scene, with Oliver and especially Barry embracing being their alternate superheroes, with Barry even saying, "You have failed this city," which was pretty cringy, but pretty awesome at the same time.
He says you were testing us.
Thus far, I am unimpressed. A crisis is imminent. Someone is coming. Someone far, far more powerful than myself. I mean to prepare.
By giving a nut bar an all-powerful reality rewriting book?
I am testing universes to find one. I hope strong enough to stand against him.
You're causing chaos, and you're blaming everyone else.
In the hope of finding the champions that would save the multiverse entire. You are the first of those I've placed under fire who have managed to retrieve the Book of Destiny. For all the good it did you.
So while it did kind of suck that the 90s Flash left so soon right before this moment, right after that we did get this moment where the Monitor explains his goal, and I really do like it very much. It's teasing Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it was the whole purpose of the crossover event explained in one sentence, with the Monitor saying he is testing universes to see which one of them is fit to face off against the Anti-Monitor. Although he never actually said the Anti-Monitor, it's pretty obvious that's who he's referring to. So this was a pretty awesome comic booky geeky moment in this crossover.
You want to tag along?
If you don't, I will, Smallville.
Cool. Who are you?
A friend.
This was just a pretty awesome moment, with Clark doing the iconic ripping open his button-down shirt to reveal the S symbol and his Superman costume, which also him saying a friend is apparently a reference to the first Superman movie, which I wouldn't know, I haven't watched it, but if it is, then that is pretty cool as well. So, Stephen Amell did promise us some huge Smallville reference outside of them reusing the farm from Smallville, and this was it. They used the theme song from Smallville, which was Somebody Save Me, and I love this song. This is an incredible reference to that show because they went to Smallville and they played the Smallville theme. I didn't love the show Smallville. It is very outdated at this point. It's a lot more CW-y than the Arrowverse shows are, which is saying a lot. But still, I do love that theme song, and the fact that they played it here was incredible.
No, if Gotham can handle the Batman, they can handle the Green Arrow. The Batman's an urban legend. Wait, you don't believe Batman's real? He's not real. He's an urban legend concocted by the Gotham Police Department to scare criminals. I'm the original vigilante, Barry.
So this moment was awesome for a couple reasons. One, it was the first utterance of the word Batman in the history of the Arrowverse. Two, it was hilarious with Oliver not believing that Batman exists because he wants to be the first vigilante in this universe. And three, it also explains what Batman is to this world, which is he doesn't really feel like a real person. He feels like this urban legend. Some people believe in him, obviously like Barry, and some people don't, like Oliver. And also this moment was a great scene between the actors, including Kara as well. All three of these actors really played well off each other in this crossover, especially like scenes like this.
You still think he's a myth? Yeah! Let's go. Batman's real. Come on.
So I love this scene. They uncover the bat signal, which is awesome in of itself, and then Barry comes to the realization that Batman is almost definitely 100% real, but then the music starts playing, and this music is really epic. They zoom up the Batwoman on top of the Wayne Enterprises tower. It's just moment after moment that is incredibly epic in this scene, especially with the music in the background. I just love it.
Jay?
No.
Oh my God, Dad?
My name is Barry Allen. Hello, John.
Do I know you?
You're not wearing your ring. Things must be different here.
So this was just an incredible Green Lantern reference, also confirming a famous fan theory that John Diggle is, on an alternate universe, or Earth 1, it doesn't really matter, John Stewart, aka the Green Lantern, just because the similarities between John Diggle and John Stewart are too numerous to look past. So this was an incredible reference to both Green Lantern and the confirmation of that theory.
Dude, I'm not doing this. This isn't how I train. Oh, you train? Really? I thought your powers just dropped out of the sky. If you're trying to get a rise out of me, it's not gonna work. You need a peanut gallery? Can you not do anything without your wife in your ear? Are you serious, man? Felicity invented quarterbacking.
I don't think that you can go more than 9 hours without some
Sappy motivational speech. All right, I'm not doing this. Your team betrayed you. You needed them, and they weren't there. I'm not doing this.
I think this scene right here is an incredible testament to what you can do with Oliver Queen and Barry Allen, but more specifically the actors of Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin. They have insane chemistry. They just bounce off each other, and they make each other as actors that much better in scenes like this. On top of that, you have Oliver Queen just ripping into the Flash, going over one of its biggest criticisms, which is Barry Allen, aka the Flash, is just not competent enough. He always needs a motivational speech, and Iris West is micromanaging way too much of what he does, and I don't know how Oliver knows these things, but he does, and it makes the moment that much better.
Told you you'd catch me.
So the reason I love this moment so much is because it made the Green Arrow feel like the most important superhero out of the four, or at least equal to them, even though he has no powers, and the Flash, Superman, and Supergirl are some of, if not the most powerful DC superheroes, and then you have this powerless guy who is just as important, and it didn't feel forced at all, which is why I really loved this scene as well as a scene that is coming up. So this is the first time we got to see Batwoman in action, and although she didn't really move much, although she did later when she took down Oliver and Barry when they were gassed by the fear toxin, in this fight scene I really love how they incorporated Batman, or in this case Batwoman's gadgets, with the grapple gun shooting Psycho Pirate and pulling him at the car, which the stunt there looked really good, and the Batarang, just the fact that the Batarang was used in this moment and the way it was used like a boomerang, which is what it's named after, the Bat Boomerang, that was just an incredible moment, and in general I really like this fight scene.
Okay. Where did you bury the remote control bows?
Dude, come on, I'm not you.
Yeah, well, okay.
Ready! There we go. Nice try. Oh! I've been waiting 4 years for that, man. Oh, it's priceless. Hold on. You can get a photo. What? Boom!
So back when it was first confirmed that there will be some sort of body swap between Oliver and Barry, and now Barry will have the arrows, so many people wanted Barry to get revenge on Oliver for what he did to him in the first crossover, and they actually did it here. It was a really funny moment. It was a great callback to that moment in the first crossover, and it was a great piece of fan service because so many people asked for this moment.
Finish him. No sign of movement. Nice work.
So while the scene where they actually defeat Amazo is obviously really cool, it's this scene right here that makes me feel like the Justice League has just formed, where each character throws their own superpowers at Amazo, or their skills at Amazo in the case of Green Arrow, and then they all come together in this kind of group shot with Superman right in the middle, and then Supergirl, Green Arrow, and the Flash behind him. It just feels like the Justice League has just formed, and I never felt like the Justice League was in the Arrowverse nearly as much as this moment right here.
Don't worry, Doctor. Everything is as it should be. The stage is set. Worlds will live. Worlds will die. And the universe will never be the same.
The fact that they're actually doing Crisis on Infinite Earths next year is actually insane, and this was a perfect ending to the episode, as well as an incredible teaser for the next crossover.
Anyone has ever stood and confronted you like this?
Yes. You are the first in a multitude.
I'm not who you need. You said I'd pass the test if I knew my true self. My true self is filled with darkness. Barry and Kara are different. They inspire hope. They inspire people because they are the best of us. And if this test of yours is going to kill our best chance at stopping this crisis, well, as gods go, you're not a very smart one.
This moment was easily the best moment in the third part of the Elseworlds crossover, and I knew that right away when I reviewed the episode, but looking back on the crossover, this is my favorite moment from the entire thing. Stephen Amell's acting in this moment is incredible. This moment just feels like the climax of not only the episode, but the entire crossover in general, despite the fact that everything that's happening outside of the scene, right before and right after, is action scenes and Barry and Kara trying to stop time, Superman fighting Superman, Brainiac 5 and Martian Manhunter showing up, as well as Lois Lane. But this moment, it's just a conversation between Oliver Queen and the Monitor, and yet it feels like the climax of the entire crossover, probably because this is the moment that Oliver and Earth-1 in general passed the Elseworlds test that the Monitor brought to Earth-1, so this is easily my favorite moment from the crossover. It's just an incredible moment. So those are the 25 best Elseworlds Arrowverse crossover moments in my opinion. If I missed a moment, like your favorite moment or one of your favorite moments didn't make it on the list, it's possible I just missed it, so let me know that moment in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe, and make sure to check out my reviews for the Elseworlds Arrowverse crossover event, and thanks for watching.